It's not looking good for the Minnesota Timberwolves. After dropping both games at home, they trail now 0-2 in this best-of-7 series. And while they did steal 2 games in Denver, I feel like Dallas is a very different type of beast. The thing is, matchup-wise, they just don't have a guy to guard Luka Doncic. Now, one thing we've noticed is that length doesn't seem to bother Luka at all. In the second round, Lou Dort is a stocky, strong defender, and he did a great job on Luka. And it feels that strength is kind of Luka's kryptonite, if there ever was one. When you have Jaden McDaniels, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, sometimes Anthony Edwards on Luka, he just kind of shrugs it off. He likes the contact. He even passes up open shots, maybe hesitates a little bit more to get a shoulder into a defender just to wean them off, get some space. And he absolutely invites contact, and that's something that the physicality that Minnesota brings doesn't seem to affect the Mavericks at all. I thought that the Mavericks were maybe too finesse team and the physicality would be too much for them, but clearly they have the ball handlers to get away from the length, and the fact is that they've just been owning them. Even in the paint, the Wolves have the better big men. They have 3 capable centers, the 3-headed monster, like I've said throughout this postseason, with Naz Reid, Karl-Anthony Towns, and Rudy Gobert. But Derek Lively and Daniel Gafford have been outperforming them. Game 2, they combined to have 30 points. And they've been better on the glass, they've been better to loose balls, they've been blocking shots, and they've been playing their roles at appropriate times. When they need to be out on the perimeter, they haven't been terrible, but they've been better than what the Wolves have done. In the paint, they've been much better. They've been getting timely blocks and better offense production than what we're seeing. Karl-Anthony Towns was effectively benched in Game 2 after shooting a paltry 4 out of 16. In Game 1 as well, he struggled. He kind of caught fire in the 4th quarter, but in Game 2, he was a no-show. And they're gonna need more from him, and if the Wolves have any shot of even winning a game in Dallas, they're going to need a big performance from Karl-Anthony Towns. He has to be better, he has to be more present, because Naz Reid, whether we like it or not, completely outperformed. He was 7 out of 9 shooting from deep. Every time on a catch and shoot, I felt that that ball was going to go in. Any time that he was getting chased off the 3-point line, he was able to take it to the paint and score at will. It was a career high performance, and again, the fact is that the Timberwolves have gotten great performances from role players. Game 1, you saw Jaden McDaniels knock a ton of threes. In Game 2, you saw that from Naz Reid. But those 2 great performances are the only reasons why the Wolves have even been in these games, because Anthony Edwards just seems like he's running out of gas. I know that this is his longest run of basketball in his entire life. He's 22. And before, maybe in college, he probably played about 30 games, 40 games max. And then in the NBA season, this is his first real playoff run. He's won a couple postseason series and got to the conference finals, but then remember that the last series was very long. He's had to defend Kyrie Irving. And credit to the Mavericks, they are shutting off the paint. Their rim protectors between Gafford and Lively have been warding off Anthony Edwards to get to the cup. He's only taken 8 shots in the paint through 2 games. And when he's doing that, he's having to rely on his pull-up shot. And in the postseason so far, before this Mavericks series, he's been good. He's been knocking down those pull-up shots, whether it's short inside 10 feet or outside even, he's been knocking those down. But we haven't seen that against the Mavericks. It's just been an attribute to the war of attrition. Legs are getting to Anthony Edwards. These are probably just part of the growing pains that every superstar deals with. Anthony Edwards has had a fantastic postseason run, don't get me wrong, but it's probably just too early to crown him as the either face of the league or just the future. He's absolutely the future, but maybe it's just not his time now. He's had opportunities to defend Kyrie Irving. He talked the talk and just hasn't been able to back it up. And these are just humbling moments for young guys that they just have to pay their dues. Maybe it's just not their time yet, but absolutely the Wolves have a lot of great pieces. But trailing 0-2 heading to Dallas is a very tough ask, and I would be surprised if the Wolves don't get swept in this series.